Hi, I'm Alvin. Welcome to my channel. Recently I had the opportunity to learn about measuring stags. I've been invited to a deer farm on the South Island of New Zealand. Some of the stags on this farm have had the antlers removed for velvet production, but today I get to witness the measuring process for trophy stags. There is an optimal time for this process, generally mid-January in New Zealand. The velvet is hardened up and solid enough for the animals to be handled and measured. It can be a very stressful time for these selected trophy stags, and careful management is required. The yards and facilities are specially designed to mitigate the risk to the animals and the handlers. The stags are managed in the drafting paddock, where they are separated down to a small mob of 5 or 6 animals. This takes great skill from the drafter on the four-wheel drive motorbike to not overly stress the animals. The drafting paddock is about 1 kilometre long, running down the ridge. I'll follow the drafter with the drone. The stags are huddled in the top right corner of this paddock. I'll move over to the left here, away from the stags, to avoid frightening them with the noise of the drone. A small group has peeled off to bring them on down the ridge. These stags are in top prime condition to produce these trophy racks. Either 4-year-olds through to 6-year-olds. They are familiar with the four-wheel motorbike and react to twists and turns as they come on down to the drafting yard. He's waiting his opportunity to separate the stags down to the 6 that he requires. Well done. Now he's keeping the pressure off them, but keeping them on the move down into the confining race which leads them to the yard. These stags are well familiar with the environment and think that they are going to a fresh paddock down below. Final process is managed by speed, timing and familiarity. Drafting and roundup process needs to be balanced with the workflow inside the measuring shed. Off the bike, lock them in, and around and into the shed. Those stags are blowing quite hard, their tongues are lolling, but they have a chance now just to settle before the measuring process. We just want one to go into the shed now, into the holding pen. The internal wall is a visual barrier, but in goes one, and there we go. Shut the gate behind him and he can settle down there until the next process starts. The deer yards are designed to flow the stags towards the crush. A water spray is available to help cool the stags if required and help reduce their stress and settle before the holding process.
$470.
20.
There are four main measurements when assessing a rack of antlers: the length of the rack points, the mass between the points, the length of both main beams, and the width between the beams. This is all done with a flexible measuring tape in inches. The measurer calls out the lengths of the tines to the recorder.
17.
The order in which these measurements are taken does not matter, but the computer is best fed in sequence.
7. 14.
To better describe the antlers,
6.
descriptors are assigned to different parts.
2.
The stag is held securely by two holders either side
16.
to protect the stag's safety and the measurer.
15. 14.
Another crucial measurement is the main beam and the inside spread. The final two measurements are the length of each beam as well as the spread between the inside of the rack, the widest distance inside.
7. 20. 16. 8 points. 51. Wrong.
The total score is achieved by adding up all the measurements, and this gives you the gross score.
And 9.
A net score is achieved after deducting for anomalies. Transporting these trophy stags is in specialist crates to ensure their safety.
Oh, yep. Yeah. Good man. I'll get it from there.
Good on you, Will. Yeah, it's too hot outside, but you're the truck driver. You got.
Yeah, temporarily the truck driver for the season, but yeah, we're just about to go and take some stags up to the different blocks.
Yes.
To the truck.
How many can you get on your load?
I can get 8 total.
8 of them, yeah. And do they're just all are in individual stalls?
Has to be individual, otherwise they'll just knock each other around,
Yes.
kill each other in the trailer.
Right.
But they usually sit down in the trailer, so they don't actually.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty comfortable.
So as part of the video here, I've asked Georgia to better explain the measuring process for the antlers. Georgia, you've got a beautiful head here.
Then we have the brow tine on the opposite side, which is also split. We have the bay, which is also curved in, but not as much as the other side. Then we also have the tray tine that is forked 3 times as well. And the main beam just comes up here.
So that
Yeah.
tallest one is always the main beam, or
Yeah.
the inside tallest?
Probably the inside tallest, it really just depends.
Yeah,
I would say almost this one, or maybe even this.
yes,
We'll have to have a closer look. With the brow tine for measuring,
yes.
and you always measure in inches.
And you sing this out to a lady on the computer, you did, didn't
Yeah,
you?
we do.
You start at the brow time.
Yeah, which is 13. Then it's split 4.5. The bay time 21.5. We have the tray 17. It's going to come up here 19.
And I see you measuring it in inches. Why do you do that, Georgia?
Because it's an American measurement, I think, so that's just how it's always been. 7, 8, and this you would call it a kicker because it kicks off the crown here.
Right.
18, 8.5, 8, 4, 8.5.
So that little tit on the end there doesn't get measured. That little bit.
This is the going to be our main beam,
Oh, I see.
and we're going to come from underneath. Which is 26.5.
26.5 is the main beam on the left-hand side.
And we're going to do the burr.
So this is what are these sort of measurements called?
This is a burr,
Yes.
and it's 9. And we're going to do the C1. Ten.
Hell, this next one's a big one, isn't it?
C2 is 13.
13.
And we're going to do the same on the opposite side.
So the first one, just tell me it's
Brow tine,
a brow tine, yeah. A brow tine that is.
pointing inwards.
Yes.
So that's 17.5. Then you've got this point, which I'm going to take it from down here. I'm not quite sure, but 7. The bay time, big bay, big bays on this one. 22. 5, 3. This is going to be my main beam. 10. 5. 5. Cut my main beam from here, as you can see that it follows here. And 34 for the main beam.
Wow.
Then we do the burr again on the opposite side.
Yes.
10.
10.
Now we're going to do the C1. Ten. 13.
13.
Now I'm going to do inside span.
Yes.
So that's just below the crowns. almost say to here. Quite narrow 26, not that wide.
Not that wide, but still an impressive head, isn't it?
Yes, very impressive.
Is the numbers written on that label there, Georgia, of what that one did score?
No, but I would say it'd be a 400
Yes.
plus,
Yeah.
or 380 maybe.
And a gold?
I would say this one would be silverhead.
Silverhead,
Silver.
yes. Now, would you explain some anomalies on it now?
Yep, so we got the brow tines on both sides, which is split.
Yes. So is that a deduction from a trophy one?
No, hunters love these because it gives extra.
George has selected another great big head here that has got some anomalies that she has some names on. George's role when she was holding those antlers was to be the descriptor so that these stags can be identified later in the field. What a fabulous weight to be carrying around as a stag, wouldn't it? Eh?
Yeah.
Heavy as all heck, I didn't realise. Eh? But these are green from this year, but being preserved, ready for the going to the client, I presume.
That's right.
Yeah.
So here we have the brow tines, but these brow tines are different because they're really curved in.
Yes.
They have, this brow tine has a point, it's split here, it's got a point off here. Then we have the bay tines, the bays, which are really close together to the brow tines.
Yes.
Then we have these are called nasal snags. You'd almost call them a nasal snag because they're coming off here.
The reason you put descriptors in, why is that, Georgia?
It's because so when the boys are out hunting and they're looking for a Pacific stag, they can see what they're looking for off the different things that a deer have on them because they're not all the same, so they all have different things. For example, this one's got really curved in brow tines with a point off here, and you've got basal snags which are on both sides, which are really obvious, and it's got really close together brows and bays. And then you will have, so you have a drop tine off this side.
A drop tine, and that's this one curling down, and
Yeah.
yes, is the same on the other side?
Yep, 2 drop tines off the trays.
Yes.
This one's a bit bigger, we'd say that was a split drop tine.
Yeah.
Then you'd come up and you've got kind of palmated kind of tray tine with 3 points. And then you would also say about this one, it's got a kicker off here.
A kicker, yes. That's an unusual name, isn't it? The other side, you've got
Another big kicker,
yes,
as you can see, because it comes off the crown,
yes.
which is different to a drop tine. And that's basically all I would say about this one.
Yes.
Lots of points.
Is that unusual to see such a moose-like plate on the top there?
No, not really actually, because with the high quality of genetics we have, it's normal to produce things like this.
Talk to me about the high quality genetics. You've got super duper stags going over super duper hinds.
Yeah, which has produced lots of high quality stags that are got heaps of points and lots of different things going on.
So you breed for line of the big trophy heads, yeah.
That's exactly right.
And this has been happening for 10 years, so it's getting better and better and better all the
It all
time.
takes time because you can only tell how good your genetics are is after each stag probably reaches 1 or 2 years old.
Yes.
And sometimes even if you think they're good at a 2-year-old, they can still drop to not being that good.
Yes. And the other thing you mentioned was artificial insemination happening.
Yeah, artificial insemination is when you don't have to naturally mate a stag over a hind, so you put a seeder in them which makes a hind naturally cycle on command basically, and then you inseminate them with semen,
Yes.
high quality semen, which means you can choose exactly what stag you want over the hind.
Right. There with the
New
top.
Zealand would be up there, so we haven't done any of that yet, but we have pretty much all of our own genetics. Really.
Yes. Great. Georgia, what a big rack of bloody antler you've got there. What's this one off?
This is an elk, which people also call a wapiti.
Yes.
The main difference between an elk and a wapiti is that the elk are more typical. They've got bigger bodies, different genetics, so they're a whole different breed, so they're not really actually that similar. Elk, as you can see, have way longer points coming up here, and not as much going on. They're very typical, long, and mainly more aggressive than a stag.
Are they?
So an elk, compared to a fallow, which I have over here,
Yes, this is a fellow.
is a big difference, as you can see. The fallow have got things called palmated crowns up here.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that they're a way different species. They're way smaller body than a red deer and an elk. They don't have the bays here either. They're very much a way smaller animal.
But still, that's a very high quality head
Very
there.
high quality. I wouldn't call this an amazing one.
Yes.
Doesn't have a lot going on, but still got big palmated crowns, as you can
Yes,
see,
yes.
which is what you want. Palmation here with points coming up the top.
Good. And look at the veins, lines where the veins were on
The
there.
veins are here because of the velvet.
Yes.
When the fallow and velvet, the veins, the blood's pumping up here to give the velvet nutrients for it to grow. So that's how it's all transported,
Yes.
which is very cool actually. So
That was something that amazed me, was that those antlers were warm when we were measuring them the other day,
they
weren't
were,
they?
weren't they?
Mm.
That's because there's so much blood. That's why it can be so dangerous
Yes.
to measure that then.
Yes. So that was right on the margin, whether they're too soft or too hard. And they are still vulnerable.
They are, because points can be snapped off because the antler's not quite hard enough.
Yes.
So if you bring this in right now, there'd be no worries because the antler's hard, it's strong,
Yes.
there's no blood, safer for the animals.
Yeah.
But this is also a lot more dangerous for a human measuring a stag, elk like this, because you've got lots of stuff that can kill you.
The power goes into their neck, isn't it? They're holding all that up and they can bring that round and get you. Yeah. Georgia, I appreciate you showing me all this.
Okay,
Hey?
it's no worries for me, I don't mind.
You don't mind, that's lovely.